This is Jer, playing Oxygen Not Included, and I'm working on a very large wild farm area. It's going to take a while to complete all of this, but getting some liquid brought in, and right now I'm just digging around all this slime. Not fun stuff. Next thing I'm going to do is just poke in right here and let all this intense polluted oxygen out and try to clean that with these guys over here, deodorizers. And here's that intense polluted oxygen making its way up. It's looking like I needed at least 3, maybe or 6 rather, of these guys, maybe even more. But that's going to allow me to be able to get into this area, not worry so much about the slime, or the slime lung rather, while I'm going into the polluted oxygen, because that could be potentially very hazardous for my base. Built a wall right here. What I'm going to do is just dig down into this area and use the polluted water to cover the slime, so that slime lung doesn't go into the air. I do have a deodorizer here in the area, so it's going to help out a little bit. If I do this right, it's going to make it a lot easier to deal with this terrible slime. Just continually making sure that any new spot I dig down into is going to be covered by liquid. So I'm not really worried about slime going to liquid. I don't believe that actually ever happens. I'm only worried about it going into polluted oxygen or any other gases, really. This is a very challenging spot for the dupes to be able to work between liquid, lack of oxygen in areas, and temperature changes. So I decided I'm going to not let them in this zone without Atmo suits. So they'll have to put on Atmo suits and go in here. Now, if I had to design my base differently, I think what I do is I put the Atmo suits a little bit closer to the exit of the base. But anyway, that's how I have it now, so I'll have this temporary wraparound. I have the doors like this, just that the rovers themselves can still get through. And gonna allow any dupes that... Ooh. No. Maybe I don't want to allow any dupes to go out either, because once they put Atmo suits, they're going to go down here with their Atmo suits. Okay, this door is not to be used in either direction by dupes. The rovers are able to go through, because they don't need to breathe, or are affected by temperature and everything else. So that's going to make it a little bit easier for the dupes to do some work in here. Making really good progress down here now. Accumulated lots of liquid. That just makes it easier and easier to bury all the slime as we're going down. One downside to these rovers is I always have to hunt them down when they expire if I want to get my metal back. But they are doing a lot of good work alongside the dupes, of course. Well, it has been a while since I accepted another dupe on. This is the 13th dupe. I'm going to call them Rocky. They're interested in rocketry, suit wearing, supplying, but they're also a rock fan, hence Rocky. So come on into the base, dupe. I guess I'm going to have to find a place for you to sleep. I guess there's a temporary spot here while the other dupe that's exploring is away. Just looking for any evidence of slime lung. Looks like a little bit of an outbreak in this area. You got oxygen, so that's not going to be... Ooh, polluted oxygen. Okay. That means we should have one of these guys in. Just to remove that. Or, you know what? Actually, might be... easier is to bring this down instead. Either way, I'm just going to get rid of that polluted oxygen with slime lung. So we have another asteroid, or rather a planetoid, discovered.
Fortunately, I don't have a rover anymore, because I already deployed one. This would have been a more useful planet to have a rover on, but I'll be back some point to put a rover on that very wet planetoid. So I was just wondering why the dupes weren't coming back in here. And I can see a little bit of slime is in their way because of the meteorites. I closed bunker doors. Looks like the meteorite shower's over, so I'll open those back up. Gotta look at the scanner as automation option for this base.
Would not be a bad idea to get access to more lead. I'll get a little bit more fossil too while I'm here. So I'm going to be using lead to essentially cool off that wild farm area so I can get that water to freeze. Okay, looks like I was building a little close to this rocket. I will either have to move everything down, or perhaps I'll move the rocket platform up. But at least I'm able to land 3 rovers at a time now to help build everything that I'm trying to get constructed. Just looking at this pepper red here, and I forgot to take it out of the fridge, because just being in the fridge had warmed it up. So I'm going to have to sweep this, send it back to my base, and reload some frozen pepper bread in this rocket. So get the dupes to bring that pepper bread here. Just going to empty this on the ground. Have to wait for this auto sweeper to be built, but when it does, it's going to put it in here to be cooled back again. So this auto sweeper is picking up the pepper bread. And it's going to go through a flash freezing process. So right now it's getting colder and colder as this thing goes. It's already going to be in a frozen state by the time it gets out of here. Now what I can do is I can go back to the rocket and I can tell the dupes, put in some pepper bread, but I better remember to take it out. Otherwise it's going to go bad because it can't stay in the fridge. So I've decided before I send these 2 rockets off with their food and oxygen, algae and all of that, exploring the world, I want to make sure they get the benefits of a mission control station. So I'm going to get this built before those rockets take off. Worried about the heat that's coming from this rocket here heating up gases. And actually I might even be slightly concerned about the other 2 as well. So I'm going to raise these platforms up a bit. It is time for the 14th dupe. Got this dupe here called Astronaut. They're interested in rocketry and suit wearing. Plant murderer, so we'll keep them out of the farms. But I want dupes that are good with pilots or interested in piloting going forward, so that's going to be a welcome addition. So I'm having a bin built right here and having the rovers and dupes put all the obsidian in the world in this location. There's not a lot, so that should be easy enough. And I've got plans for this, an experiment essentially, and see how this goes. But it involves rocket and food storage. We'll see what happens. So there is another blueprint to unlock. I'm sure I'm going to be amazed by the, yeah, bubblegum pants. Okay, I'll get right on that. So I've taken the obsidian out of the bin. And it is slowly getting colder and colder in this zone. I'm going to wait till it gets to be a really freezing temperature. And then I'm going to try building a fridge out of it. Inside the rocket, in a vacuum, and see what that does. Just noticed some water here in this zone. So getting the dupes to, first of all, mop up and then remove water from this area. So I want to make sure my sleet wheat stays healthy and growing. So 3 rockets are up, orbiting, just having the dupes destroy the rocket platforms here and rebuilding them a little bit higher up. So just realized a feature of this game. I don't know if this is a new thing or not, but you can click on a platform and tell any orbiting rockets to actually land.
That's kind of cool. Let's see if this works, first of all. Oh, it does. There it is. The only thing, you have to know the names. I wish you could change the names of rockets. Oh, wait, can? Oh, you can. I'll call this one Carbon 1. It's based on a carbon dioxide rocket. Okay, that I did not know either. Okay, I'm learning all kinds of things about this game. You can continually play this forever and, like, always be learning new stuff. So you can name rockets. That's very helpful, because the random names that they give are never that useful. Just want to have these 2 platforms built so I can bring down my other 2 rockets. I'll get this one to land here. And I'll rename this one's maybe Rad 1 and Rad 2. I'll do that after. Awesome. So I also have higher clearing, so I shouldn't have any heat going into the base for carbon dioxide taking off, because I'm using this almost every cycle. A little bit low on carbon dioxide. Actually, speaking of which, I'll stay here and I'll make sure this dupe is able to get down. Before I did this, I made sure this ladder was here so that the dupes can actually get off the rocket. But here in a second, I will be able to tell the other rocket to land. Awesome. I'll rename the other ones later on, but I just wanted to show carbon dioxide, because that's what I'm... Okay, whoa. This has exploded all of a sudden. I put carbon dioxide. There's a rover in the other world that's just continually dumping carbon dioxide here. I was low for a while. I'm no longer low. I've got a pump in this area. What I might want to do is either raise this pump or lower the liquid or something. Get that going into those 3 rockets. All right, lots of new stuff. I'm still waiting for obsidian to cool down. I'm trying to have this little system built to speed up the process of that going down. But that may be a waste because it's already close to where I want it. We'll see what happens there. I see a settings errand. I just renamed these guys here. Do they actually have to go and put a label or something on it to actually solidify? Oh, wait, whoa. No, I disabled it. Wait, what? Building is disabled. Enable building. Okay, don't know what happened there. I must have accidentally... How did I do that multiple times? Cancel, enable building. Enable building. Okay. This rocket is not ready. Okay. All kinds of confusion there. But important thing, ignore that bit then. I've got now 3 rockets with named Carbon, 2 with Rad. And I'll probably be growing my Rad series of rockets over time. But there it is. I had no idea. I don't know how I missed this feature. I've been complaining to myself about not being able to name rockets. Maybe that's a new thing. Maybe it's not. But I know it's there now. Over here. Okay, good. So obsidian is getting close to where I want it. It's still not cold enough. So let's go down to the actual raw material. Obsidian. What I plan to do here is have this just go in an infinite loop. So that auto sweeper should be picking it up. It's going to put it through the conveyor track with some very cold granite, taking the temperature down, just speeding the process of that obsidian. Because I want to build fridges out of that and see how that goes. So it has not taken obsidian long to cool way down. So I'm going to shut this off and see what kind of temperatures we get. Yeah, let's try building out of that. Because I know this is all the obsidian in the world, I can guarantee that if the dupes are going to build out of it, they're going to choose this, a very cold material. Now that I've got named rockets, I'm going to go to Rad 1. And I'm going to build a fridge right here out of obsidian. So I know that fridge is going to be extremely cold in a vacuum area, so it should maintain that temperature. And I'm going to do the same thing over in this rocket. Build another fridge, same material, obsidian. Let's go back, double check. Did I get the other fridge out of obsidian? Yeah, they're both being made out of obsidian, and we'll see what the temperatures are the fridge are when they're built. Here's a fridge being built out of that cold obsidian. Let's check the temperature of the fridge. Hopefully the game doesn't throw away that property, and it is no. Okay, I don't know whether the obsidian may be warmed up on the way here, but yeah, this does not work. That's disappointing. I'll try the other fridge. Mine cleaner, throw in some material. It's either it warmed up on the way, or it, yeah, the same temperature. So it doesn't matter what you build the fridge out of. It's gonna be its own temperature there. The only other option then is to actually freeze the fridge in place, if I want that to work. And this is all assuming that the actual temperature of the fridge affects the food that's in it. Is this even worth doing? I'll think about this. Down on the bottom of my base, with the last few pipes being installed, that's going to allow me to take all this new carbon dioxide that's been dropped off and send it in my rocket so I can continually create more of these rovers, because they are very useful. So I decided, in the name of science, I'm going to experiment here. What I'm doing is getting all the liquid out inside this rocket, as well as the liquid that's inside here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do liquid cooling, and I'm going to bring ethanol into my rocket, and inside the rocket, just these two, the red bolts, I'm going to put in conductive panel over this guy once that liquid is gone, and we'll see if we can take the temperature of the fridge. I have no idea whether the actual temperature of the fridge is going to help keep the food in the frozen state. That's still, I guess, a hypothesis. I'm hoping it is, but we shall see. So I will continue on. Now that I've raised my rockets, I won't get any carbon dioxide in it unless I actually change this line, so bringing that in now so I can continue to send these rover modules up for deployment. So I've got a new line down here that's taking the ethanol from the other world that I had stored and sending that up. And this is part of the experiment, but this is also going to be needed for the sleet wheat farm anyways. So whether or not this experiment goes well or not, it's very useful to have ethanol up the top of my base. And what I'm going to do is just store it in this liquid reservoir for now. So we get this infinite loop of ethanol going around from this liquid reservoir to this cooling system, so I can get the ethanol to be chilled, and then I'm going to start sending it into the rockets. In the two red bolt rockets right now, I'm just having insulation pipes go through here, having conductive panel go by the refrigerator, and hoping that when we get the cold ethanol through this is going to take the temperature of this guy down. So I've got a path going in and out the rockets, and that's going to allow the ethanol essentially to visit the two different fridges in both of the rockets. So right now I'm only able to get 2 of 3 rockets up. Let's send these 2 back down and investigate the third. I have no idea why. So if I look at this rocket here, destroy, get iron back, but this rocket will not go up. And I don't understand, because everything is checked on the checklist. It's crewed, they are a pilot. Actually, their name is pilot, so, you know, this should be ready to go. But this rocket will just not launch. It'll just stay there forever. I'm going to try reloading the game, see if that does anything. Just reloaded the game. And now my rocket's able to go up. So if you ever have a rocket that you're not expecting to go have problems, I guess you have to reload.
While all the experimenting was going on, I'm continuing to develop my wild sleet wheat farm area. I've added insulation because I've reached the bottom. I want to have 5 layers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to have to keep this area cool. Currently, let's look at it. It's already having a little bit of a cooling effect from this zone. But that's why I'm having the ethanol be sent in here, so I can essentially get the temperatures down. But I don't need to cool anything beyond these 5 layers. That's why I decided to put the ethanol in there. I'm going to remove some of the physical material that's around, just with the idea that I want to keep it clean and only have what I need, because I only want to cool down what is necessary. All this stuff here is stuff I would potentially have to cool down. My thinking is if I can just get all the rovers to dump out the material, it'll increase the speed at which I can take the temperature down in this zone. So dupes and rovers are alike. They're now starting to pick up material from the top level, starting there. And wherever I have a full clean area of water, I'm just going to put some granite tiles above, just so that the dupes don't accidentally drop any material. Sometimes they do that just before going on break. So I can ensure that this is just pure water. It's not really going to matter if stuff freezes in there, but I just figured just to prevent that from freezing some useful material like metal or anything like that, I'm just going to cover this and wait before this freezes. And when once this freezes and becomes ice, then I'll destroy these tiles later on. So this ethanol has gotten cold enough for me for this experiment, so I'm now going to cut this line right here and start directing this ethanol to go into the actual rockets itself. This is the 2 red bolt rockets with those fridges, and we'll see what this will do. So this cold ethanol is starting to make its way into the rockets. Let's have a look inside. This ethanol is going through this panel. Let's just check on the fridge itself. Has it changed at all? Properties. It's actually gone. Okay, no, it is. It's just gone down just a bit. I'll continue to watch it. This is just the beginning, so I'll give it a little bit more time, and we'll see. This might just work, because I see the temperature has just dropped just slightly. So I'm not absolutely certain if this is beneficial or not, but I put a liquid valve here and just slowed things down to about 75%, with the idea that in here this liquid is spending a little bit more time. Now I see the actual contents of the conductive panel has of actual value in it rather than just going directly through. I'm just wondering if that's going to help reduce the rate of which the fridge is going to go down. Oh, it has dropped quite a bit actually. It seems as if that is actually a good thing for it. Check the other fridge. This is also dropping. Okay. Give this a few cycles, maybe. Just had very hot regolith land here, so dug that out, and I think it might be time to replace the top of this with insulation. So I put granite tiles all around this guy and filled in some hydrogen, just with the idea of increasing the thermodynamics that's happening here to get coolness into this zone, because this is going to be responsible for freezing all of this, unless I put in an aqua tuner, which I may do to complement the system, but we'll start off with this as cooling. So making really good progress here in my wild farm. Still have to have water dropped off down here, but where I could, I just left the original tiles where I'm going to grow sleet wheat. Overall, wasn't that lucky with the location where I wanted the different tiles. There was a lot of bissolite, a lot of just empty tiles, sand, stuff that I was not able to use to actually plant anything. But there it is though. Not a problem because I've got plenty of water, so I'm just drawing that up here. Putting tiles on top of this just to make sure that it stays as it is in place until it freezes. And then once I have this thing all set up with liquid, I'll start the freezing process with ethanol going round and round in here. So that is looking pretty good. Let's look at... Oh! Dupes can't go in and out of here because that's frozen. Let's not have that be the case. Let's go inside the rockets now. Temperature of the fridge is pretty cold. I might wait for it to drop just 1 or 2 more degrees, and then we'll put some food in it and see what happens. So my fridge is now very frozen, and I very much want to see what's going to happen when I send food in there and send the rocket off. Is it going to last? Because right now I have to empty the fridge and store the food outside the fridge. And that's just annoying, something that I can forget to do, which would be bad because the food would go bad when the dupe is traveling. So unfortunately, I think this is it for today. But I'm very curious to see how this is going to go and see whether this experiment is paying off. I can stop the process of the ethanol going in and out. I'll replace that back with the water system again. And I'll continue this feeding this whole system with water. Now, I did have 2 comments from on the water system here, which is essentially you don't need to put filtering system into these 2 guys. Meaning that I can give this guy polluted water. That's not going to be a problem. Polluted water is going to come out. I can give this guy salt water, brine, or just regular water for that matter, and it'll just come out. I just was under the impression, I knew that much, but I was under the impression that that could still consume power. So if you just give this polluted water just as a way to go between to visiting here, it's going to use a lot of power just to make that happen, which was pointless. I'm beginning to think that's not the case, and I want to experiment on that. I think that's something I'm going to do early. Unfortunately, like as I mentioned, I'm going to put it away for today, but I very much want to experiment on that because I might completely refactor this whole setup. And if that's the case, that's going to simplify everything there. I also probably want to expand the amount of water sieves I have, because the amount of water that I'm getting up at this point is okay, but it could be a little bit more consistent, and that would speed up the process of getting this whole thing ready. Anyways, lots of experimenting. I think more than anything else, this just shows that there's just constantly things to learn and experiment and try out in this game. So I look forward to continuing to explore, learn, and see where I can get to in this particular asteroid. Thank you everyone for your comments, suggestions. Thanks anyone for any likes, subscribing, and I will see you in a future episode where we'll try out our frozen fridge on travel. Until then.